decided to tell this story because it's been 1 year. I've been involved in many projects right now, but it's been already like a year and a half that I got involved, and I decided to design a project for the Latinx community in Washington, mostly in Seattle and South King County. And I've been looking for different resources to do some leadership and youth engagement with Latinx community. So when I started thinking about why did I decided to do this, I came up with this story, which is actually how I found my motivation to work with the Latin youth. So I was 12 years old when I first arrived to the United States. I arrived from Mexico City. I perfectly remember it was in late September of 2001, and times were really, really harsh, mostly for immigrants. My mother, as a single parent, decided it would be best for me and my two siblings to move to Seattle, near to her older sister and family, where we would have more support and economic opportunities. After a few days of our arrival in Seattle, my mother immediately placed us in a school called the Bilingual Orientation Center, or the BOC, now known as the Seattle World School. This is a transition school where children that recently arrived to the United States attend to help them get acquainted with the school system and acquire some English language skills. I spent a semester at the BOC and then transferred to Roosevelt High School, where I attended from 2002 to 2006. This was a huge change for me. In a school of 4,000 students, mostly white, only 20 students, including me and my two siblings, were from Latino origin. I had to face many challenges. One of them, I remember that my first semester of freshman year, I was placed in English as a second language or ESL classes. Honestly, the ESL classes started to feel too easy for me. I could not move into regular classes, but I was obligated to take a whole year before transitioning to language art classes. So no questions asked, I stayed in ESL because who knew better than my counselor, right? I thought she was looking out for my best interest. It wasn't until my sophomore year that I was finally able to transfer to regular language art classes with the help of a few teachers who appealed for me to my counselor. As my junior and senior year unfolded, I started looking into applying to the University of Washington. My brother was admitted only a year before, and it was pretty much my dream to attend the same university. And like every student that is looking forward to applying to university, I had to work very hard to have the grades, the test scores. I got involved in leadership programs. I became president of La Raza Club. I got involved in extracurricular activities. I became part of the All City Marching Band in Seattle, and I became captain of the flag squad. I joined the gymnastics and became varsity during my 4 years of high school. I had worked very hard during my 4 years of high school to meet the requirements to be admitted into UW. The time came and I sent my application. I was almost certain that I would be accepted until I received in the mail the regular small envelope from the UW. Everyone knew at that time that a small envelope from the UW meant you were not accepted. I opened the letter, and as I read it, it explained that I did not meet the requirements to apply for the university since I did not have completed language art credits needed to apply. As it turns out, ESL credits did not count as language art credits. I was not only devastated, I felt angry. Why would my counselor tell me to stay in ESL classes knowing that I wanted to attend college, and mostly the University of Washington? So I went to speak to my counselor and ask her why she had not told me about this little detail. To what she answered, well, Irina, we didn't have enough students in the ESL program back then. And since no students like you don't graduate in the 4-year established, I assumed you could afford to stay an extra semester in this ESL program. I was shocked. And I thought to myself, what does she mean students like me? Does she mean Mexican, immigrants, colored, Spanish speakers? She just looked at me and said, don't worry, you can go to a community college and apply again in 2 years. Maybe you will be accepted then. It felt so easy to say for her. Once my dream and efforts were crushed by her internalized idea that people like me don't graduate high school or don't go to a university such as the UW. That day, I felt she had taken away my chances of entering the UW. I was never given the opportunity to decide for myself. She took that away from me based on a racist idea. And now, when I think back, if I hadn't lived these experiences, I probably would not be here today. My life changed. I felt that no one should ever be deprived of opportunities based on racial or any other type of bias. So I went on. I did not study at the UW. I went back to Mexico, studied anthropology, where I gained methodological skills to address social injustice, and made it my mission to provide communities with leadership tools, and learning experiences where the voices are heard and play part in their decisions that shape their outcomes. Now, one of the programs I'm honored to coordinate, it's aimed to empower young leaders from the Latino community and Quiche community, and most of the students from the Seattle World School, the school where I started my journey when I first arrived in the US.